All right. Hey guys, I hope you're having a great week. I am super excited about this call. We are all so fired up from Super Saturday. What an amazing meeting around the country. That I saw that we had over 15,000 people around the country learning more about Plexus. That's a huge number and a huge amount of lives that have been changed because of Plexus. Let me start off by introducing myself. My name is Beth Anderson, and I'm a Diamond Ambassador with Plexus. And I have asked a few of our team members today that were at different Super Saturdays around the country to give us their favorite tips on Super Saturday. I first want to talk about why it is so important to get to events. First of all, events fire you up. It can be a small event, it can be a medium-sized event, or a large event. But I promise you, when 2 or more Plexus people are involved in an event, you get fired up. There are so many lives being changed in so many ways because of Plexus. And when you are around Plexus people, you feel that energy and you hear their stories. It was amazing to be at the opportunity meeting Friday night and to hear stories that I had never heard. Some of them I had heard, but some of them I hadn't. And y'all, the stories of lives being changed, that can't keep you not excited about Plexus, because there are lives tremendously being changed in so many different ways. And so being around people passionate about Plexus is huge. You learn. When you go to events, your teams want to go to events. And so they start to grow. And you hear it all the time. Alex says it all the time. Tarl says it all the time. It's not a lie. Leaders are born at events. You have to get to events. When corporate comes anywhere near you, 5 or 6 hours, you get in a car and you get to events. Now, I know that there were some weather things going on this week and some people planned to go and couldn't go. But if you couldn't go, you start asking people that you knew went what they learned, because you want to get that passion and you want to get fired up from the people that were at the events. But I'm telling you, getting to events, whether it be you hosting a sip-and-see and 2 people show up, those are 2 people whose lives will be changed because of Plexus. No event is too small. And I'm just telling you, when corporate comes, you get there no matter what. Convention coming up, they just announced, that and the dates and where it's going to be. You do whatever it takes to get to convention. You share a room with 6 people if you have to. If you have to stay, 20 minutes away to get a cheaper room, it's fine. People do that, guys. Last year, I had people eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the rooms because they were so committed to being at convention last year. That's amazing to me. To me, that shows how determined they are to make things work. So convention coming up, if you need ideas of how to get to convention, then you let me know. The contest just came out. That can help you get to convention. So anyways, there's so many different ways, but I just cannot stress enough how important getting to these events are. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, and some of us are new and some of us are not so new, but making your Frank's list, guys. If you've never done that, that is absolutely huge. What does Frank's mean? It means making a list of 100 people or more. If 100 people completely stresses you out, start with 50 people and then add to it going on. But what does Frank's mean? Frank stands for friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, and kids contacts. Where do I want you to start? I want you to grab your cell phone and start going through your contact list and writing people's names down. I've given this task to several people lately, and it's funny. I was sitting with one girl one day at lunch, and I said, okay, I want you to pick up your phone right now, and we're going to start calling people right now. Y'all, she did. It was amazing. She started going down her contact list, and she was like, oh, well, they could use Plexus for this reason, and they could use Plexus for that reason. And almost everybody on her contact list, y'all, she knew that people needed Plexus. And so write that down. Make your list of names, and then next to it, why do you think that they could use Plexus? I'm pretty sure that everybody in the world, I believe that everybody in the world can benefit from Plexus in some way or another. If it means they need some ease cream to help their muscle pain go away, everybody needs Plexus. So write their names down. Write why you think they need Plexus. Write the date you contacted them and what they said. And I have a little secret. If they said, no, absolutely not, no way, don't I don't believe them. I believe that everyone one day will use Plexus in some way or another. I have people that told me no forever that do use it. And so don't ever give up. So write yes or no, or follow up, and then, make the next column. When did you follow up? So anyways, continue with those people to follow up, but having a list to see that, to me, I'm such a visual person. It sees all the people you can contact, but it also shows you that, helps you go through your list and realize when you get done with your phone list, pick up your kid's school directory and start going through that list, or start going through your neighborhood, like the streets, and write there people's names that live down in any house. But y'all, people need Plexus. Everyone does, and everybody can benefit. So anyways, that's one thing you'll learn. Another thing that I learned that I am going to try to implement this week is asking for referrals. I've done that a couple times, but I really haven't been intentional on doing that. And so I'm going to start with my current customers, and I'm going to go through them, and I'm going to personally either call them or personally text message them and ask them for referrals. I'm not going to do a huge blanket email. I'm going to make it personal. And I'm going to ask each of them for referrals. When I get done with that, I'm going to start going through my friends list and seeing who will give me referrals. What they stated in our meeting in Dallas, that one person had done that and she got her PV to $10,000 just by asking for referrals. That's crazy. I believe I heard that in Dallas. I heard that somewhere this week, so it must have been in Dallas, but $10,000 in PV just by asking for referrals. That's crazy. So anyways, that was huge for me. So I just want to reiterate, we have life-changing products, guys. Everybody, I was talking about today, I posted about Probio 5 and how that has changed our lives. I mean, for me, I used to get, if anybody's gonna get the stomach bug, that would be me right here. If anybody breathes the stomach bug, I would get it. And since I've started Probio 5, I have not gotten the stomach bug, which is huge. So that's how that has helped me. And my son, he used it, and now he doesn't have warts on his knee. So everybody can use Plexus in some way, and that's life-changing. Every little thing that benefits you is a life-changing. Some things can be major. I have a friend that couldn't get off the couch. She couldn't walk by herself a year ago, and now she can. I mean, that's major life-changing, right? But for me, not getting a stomach bug is pretty cool. So anyways, so we're going to move on, but so our next person is going to be Kate to Penny.
There we go.
Yep.
I'm Kate Tenpenny. I live in Brighton, Michigan, and I am a Ruby ambassador with Plexus. And I'm going to share a little bit about Facebook tips. So this is something that I have definitely changed since I started Plexus, and always try to reiterate to my team, because I know that the change can make things very successful. So when I first started Plexus, the Time Hop app, if you all have that, I get my posts from like years ago, and I almost cringe because some of them are rather salesy, not reflecting the genuine me. So some of the things that were reinforced at Super Saturday, I'm just going to share my notes with you guys. So the first thing that they said was to share about your life and to show the real you. People are on Facebook to be our friends, right? They're not on Facebook to have Plexus just constantly thrown at them all day long. So, it's important that we have a good balance with our personal life, things that we're passionate about outside of Plexus as well. I loved this. Write the post as if you were talking to each person face to face. That really got me thinking about how I introduce testimonies, or how I, the angle I take when I'm making a post, being a little bit more personable and genuine when I'm introducing something. Share your favorite photos, sayings, and places that you love, places you want to travel, quotes. I do a lot of Googling for inspirational quotes or pictures. I rarely use Plexus images. One, just because of compliance, I want to make sure that they're compliant. And two, some of them can be a little salesy. So I try to find images that are just kind of promoting what I'm trying to get across. The more interesting your posts, the more that they will be shared and liked. So obviously, that's the more they're going to get into your friends' feed. There's a huge rhyme and reason to Facebook. I've learned so much about it being in network marketing, as far as who sees your stuff, and how you can get that in their feed. So questions on your page to engage folks can be a really good way to get non-Plexus people involved on your page. And when Facebook sees that they're interacting with you, they're going to see your posts more, including your Plexus posts. So they talked about asking questions about your favorite crockpot ideas or where to go for date night. I posted one, I think it was months ago, about where to find a little black dress. And I genuinely was trying to find a little black dress. And so many people, non-Plexus people, interacted with me to share, where they think I should go. And I actually ended up finding it at a place someone suggested. And it worked out. So that's a great way to get non-Plexus people involved, because as you get more and more Plexus friends requests, a lot of your stuff is just going to them. So a little trick that I've learned, and they didn't say this at Super Saturday, but I'm sure most of you are aware, is you can be friends with, everybody on your team, but you can unfollow certain people too, so that when you do post the questions to engage non-Plexus people, those are the people that are going to be moved up into your feed, and it's not just going to go out to Plexus folks. So I definitely, follow my leaders on my team and people that I need to stay in contact with, but that's a really good tip that I learned along the way. I think they call it flipping your Facebook, but anyway. So social media etiquette was the other thing they talked about. Being sure to share your passion, and remember that you are networking. That's what you're doing on Facebook. So always keeping it positive is so important. I can't tell you, some of the times I've seen, people post about how awesome Plexus is and what it can do for us. And then their next post is very negative about something that's going on in their life. And, we all have issues and things going on, but I think creating the best you on Facebook is going to be more beneficial for you and your business. Try and be magnetic. Let people know who you are and what you love. I've tried to create a culture on my Facebook page that surrounds certain things that are important to me, which are my children, my faith, exercise, and Plexus. And so just trying to find what's important for you and going, moving forward with that. Follow your friends, your non-Plexus friends, and comment on their posts. Nurture your network. So I've also created Facebook lists for non-Plexus friends, and you can Google how to create a Facebook list. But what that does for you is you can actually click on that list, and you can have your whole feed be, potentials or non-Plexus people. That way you can, take 2 minutes to go through it that day, see if anything you can genuinely comment on, and stay connected with those people. Facebook can get time consuming and suck you in. And I've noticed that in the beginning of my business, it was more draining than productive for me. So making those lists has really helped. The other tip they gave was to join the Facebook pages that make sense to you to kind of build your cold market. So for me, I'm in a lot of moms groups of preschool kids, and I'm in some pregnancy groups right now, and just like other groups that have something to relate to my interests, that I can network and meet new people and build relationships with. You never know who you're going to meet. Post pics and videos of yourself where you currently are and where you want to be, your hopes and your dreams. I hear all the time, well, I don't have a story yet, so I can't post on Facebook. Don't wait. That was a huge mistake that I see so many people making. We have tons of success stories on our team. So just share those, follow some of the leaders in our company, follow everybody on this Zoom. You don't have to friend request everybody, but you can follow them and use their posts, see what the leaders are doing. Obviously they're doing something that's working. So I use posts all the time. I just make them my own, make sure that they sound like you, and add your spin on them. Hold Facebook events and share the opportunity. I do this with my team all the time. We have online Facebook parties and opportunity events, and they're really, really helpful. Be bold. Don't be salesy. Avoid the join my team today and posting your link. I did that in the beginning. Didn't work. So it's something that I haven't done in over a year. But, I think getting them to comment or reaching out to them personally is going to be far more effective than, just putting your link up on Facebook. So they go to it blindly. Let's see. I think the last thing I want to share is really about some ideas. One of my teammates took an idea that they gave us on Super Saturday and kind of changed it a little bit. But thinking outside of the box, she took a picture of her living room empty, and said, something about, man, this, room hasn't been seeing me, very often because of my energy, thank you, Plexus, sort of thing. And she got so many people commenting and liking that post and bringing them in. It created an engagement. So they talked about a couple other things as far as like showing your picture self with a cupcake and only eating one bite, and just kind of trying to think outside of the box when you're making the post instead of just, throwing up a post to throw up a post. So that's what I have.
Thank you, Kate. I love that. Facebook is an amazing tool. And but it is, you want to be real. People want to be drawn to people in real life that are positive. And yeah, we all know we have stuff. But if ever their post is, oh my gosh, I feel bad, or oh my gosh, blah, 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 whatever, people aren't going to be drawn to you. Be real. But, think of what people think of in real life, because Facebook is real life, So anyways, thank you so much. Okay. And Kate, what did you say, what Super Saturday you're at? I couldn't remember.
I didn't. I said I was from Michigan. I was at the Columbus Super Saturday.
So I thought you said Michigan, and I was like, in my head. But
no, it'll be in the Mitten next year. I swear.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Kate. All right. Jody Anderson is next. And so Jody, if you'll tell us your rank and where you went to Super Saturday.
Sure. I'm Jody Anderson, and I am a senior Ruby ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, and I went to Dallas Super Saturday.
No, I didn't see you. I can't believe I didn't.
Oh, I know.
Where's Jody?
Where's Beth? Hello.
I was there, I promise.
You were. No. Loved Super Saturday, loved everything, but just trying to think of one takeaway to share is kind of hard. But I love Victor Antonio. He is just amazing. If you ever get a chance to watch his videos on YouTube, even just about his story and his upbringing, it really even makes what he shares with us Plexus peeps even more that we can take to heart. He's been through it. He knows, people doubted.
He's real, just like we talk about. He's real.
He's real. Yep. Love him. He shared one point that 75% of American families live paycheck to paycheck. And though that was surprising, it wasn't surprising, even though we're all kind of living the American dream, and a lot of people can get their nails done, and a lot of people can get, spend a lot on hair and everything. We've made it that we have to live paycheck to paycheck by adding those luxuries. And so people need the Plexus opportunity, not only to keep their luxuries going, but to benefit more for their families and things like that. I love that he said that sharing Plexus is 80% mindset, 20% tool set. Okay. We have amazing tools with Plexus. We have products that work, period. That is the only toolbox we need, really. We get a lot more from Plexus and from our upline and everything, but really, we have products that work. But we have to have 80% mindset. We can't be embarrassed to share Plexus. These are life-changing products. Someone might want to scrapbook or something, but if you're not crafty, you're not going to find that interesting. You're not going to be able to do that. That's not really life-changing. We really have life-changing products for everyone. And we need to take pride in that and know that we're sharing from the heart to our friends and family, and let them see that. When we are sharing from the heart and we do have pride and we have our minds in the place that we want to help people, we're not selling anymore. We are sharing, and that's what people need, and that's what people are going to respond to. So if you don't have that faith yet, find it. Be a product of the product and find your faith in the products so that you can share honestly and with pride. All right. I love how Victor Antonio points out that our job as Plexus ambassadors is not to sell the product, but to share the product, but also to classify our potentials, or our friends and relatives, of how Plexus will help them. And he points out the 3 W's, and there's weight loss, wellness, and wealth. And any 3 of those, everybody needs. Okay. And though someone might want wellness more than weight loss, that's fine, but it's our job to find that category for them. And how do we do that? We ask questions. We don't want to puke Plexus on people. You know, we're excited. We're a product of the product. We know it works. I don't have chronic pain anymore for my rheumatoid arthritis, but you know, the person who's suffering with rheumatoid arthritis may not believe me because nothing has helped them. Okay. They didn't live in my body. I don't live in theirs, but I've got to find out what they're dealing with. I have a few friends that I never knew they had RA, and that's just come out recently. And, you know, you kind of keep that quiet sometimes, but I had to ask questions of where they're at to find this out. Okay. So, if I had told somebody with diabetes that I had RA, it wouldn't matter to them, would it? So I need to find out what they're needing, what they want in life. Ask questions 80% of the time, give information 20% of the time. And you're going to get better response from people, and people are going to believe and trust you a whole lot more. I think I need to use this with my kids too. Sorry.
Maybe I do too. I don't know.
Rabbit trail, just, you know.
I talk a lot to my kids. Maybe I should just be quiet a little bit more.
There you go. You can, like Beth was saying, you can start sharing customer experience, and even your team members get their experience and share. I don't have different things that somebody else might. But I can say, oh, my dear friend so-and-so, they had that too, and this is what they've experienced. You're not making something up. This is real. And just because you didn't deal with it, well, you know, that doesn't mean it doesn't work for them. So I just encourage people not to sell, not to jump on people immediately. I have talked to some people, and you had a Plexus shirt on, and people said, oh yeah, I've heard of that. And then I'll say, what have you heard? Okay. Or, you know, oh yeah, I know about that. Well, what do you know? And it's 80% of the time it's weight loss.
Yep.
Okay. At that point, sometimes I'll say, oh, well, it's so much more. And whatever, like if I'm at a kid event, and I have a bunch of kids, so usually have a story from some kid that's around, but I can say, oh, well, my daughter experienced this because we're her gymnastics thing, and they know that daughter. So I'm like, oh, well, she had help with her eczema and da-da-da. And it brings, oh, what? It helps with eczema? What? You know, and so then it brings the conversation away from weight loss and more into wellness. And then you can keep on, or even, oh my goodness, these sports are so expensive. Oh, I know, but oh, we really struggled before, but now that we have Plexus, you know, we don't have as much of a problem. So just make it real, and don't, oh, do this and you won't, you know, just say what you're doing. And people really respond to that. I've been trying to listen to people, not about Plexus and stuff, and see how conversations happen between friends, and just kind of use that as my own social experiment.
It's true though. Yeah.
We don't do that.
Yeah.
Just listen to the other friends. We don't do that. We always wanted, up somebody else in the conversation. Yeah. And people really need to be heard, and we want to be listened to. And that's our job as ambassadors. So I really encourage all of us to do that more.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Jody. A couple things I wanted to say on top of that. When she was talking about, being proud to be a Plexus ambassador, one thing that I struggled with in the beginning, and it took me a little bit of time, I always was apologizing. I was like, I'm sorry to especially even with my customers. They already said yes, right? And I would message them and I'd say, I'm sorry to bother you. I don't want to be annoying. I just want to see how it's going. Do you have any questions? I always started with, I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. Plexus is life-changing, right? So we shouldn't apologize. And then I had another thought, and I just lost it. But maybe I'll remember it later. But that was one thing, because that's huge for me. Because that's what I came back real fast. Is that, find your belief. Okay, so here's the deal. When I first started, guys, I had zero belief. I was like, this is crazy. It's not going to work. And I give it 1 month and I will not work the business, right? But what I did know is that my friends, Celeste and Ariel and Rainey, all had lost weight. And so I had their belief. So if you don't have your belief yet, hop on the belief of somebody else. Hop on the belief of your upline and become passionate about that belief and start sharing. I did not have results. I personally, honestly, don't even know if I'd even taken a sip of it yet, because we got it in a week before I started sharing. It works because I knew it did work. I was able to share that. Even though I didn't believe it was going to work for me, I knew it worked for other people, and it did work for me. Almost 3 years later here, I'm still taking it. But anyway, so if you don't have that belief yet, hop on somebody else's belief until you find yours, and you start building it. You start searching for testimonies, which you can believe. You start getting to meetings, even if it's a meeting with 5 people, because I promise you hear people giving their stories and you'll find your belief. Absolutely. So thank you, Jody. Everything you said was spot on and perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay. Next up, we have Andrea.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So my name's Andrea Diebold. I am a Senior Gold Ambassador, and I live in Northern California, but I attended the Super Saturday up in Portland. Killed a couple birds with one stone, was able to go up there and learn a whole bunch and see family. So what I wanted to kind of share is our why. And, pretty much anybody that's either just started or been with us for a while know how important it is to have your why. And, Lori had us, kind of jot down some reasons of, what our whys are. And she says along the way, and along the way, that your why is going to change. I'm coming up on 2 years of being with Plexus, and my why has changed so many times. My why first started to just help others. I have fibromyalgia and degenerative disc disease in 2 places in my spine, and chronic pain that I've lived for a long time. And within the first couple of weeks of trying the products, I was feeling better. So that was my why. My why wanted to help other people. My why, knowing my why and understanding that your why changes, has been what grounds me. It's what's allowed me to flourish a little bit more, because there's, you have your ups and downs through your journey with Plexus as an ambassador and as a team leader. And, the times that I was kind of down and trying to figure things out, I go back to my why. And having that why there, even though it hasn't changed, but remembering why you started is important. And I feel that's what's going to help you grow and, help expand your team. Lori had asked us, whatever your why is, whatever your goal is, times it by 10. And at the time, I was like, how can you times a why by 10? But what I kind of got from that was to just shoot, have your why, and then kind of picture yourself a little bit down the road. And that was kind of what she was explaining about times it by 10. But just having a why and understanding and letting your team know what your why is, I think is always really important, because like Jody was saying, you know, letting your team know, or a potential, or anybody know why you started might spark a little something for that person and say, oh, well, you know, this is working for her and this is why she joined. I have that same issue, or I want to be able to send my kids to college without going into debt. Between my husband and I, we have 7 kids that range from the age of 6 to 19. And some of them don't want to go to college, some of them do. And, you know, being able to not live paycheck to paycheck anymore, I have hope. And that's my why. My why is around my kids a whole lot. So having your why is just really important. And it's okay if, you know, it's going to grow and change as you grow and change. And that's one thing that I've understood is, you know, while my why is still wanting to quit my job and stay home with my kids, travel, and just be more present with my family, my why is now about my team. I want to focus on my team and I want to pour into my team. And from that, my why will probably change 1,000 times again. Trying to think of anything else that, because, you know, having a why is one of the first things when you start out with Plexus. It's one of the first things. So I think everybody knows that you have to have a why. I have a few newbies right now I'm working on, you know, write out your why. And if they're comfortable enough, you know, to share that why with me, and that way I can be a better leader and help guide them a little bit more. That's all I really have. I don't have a whole lot. I just know, you know, why, having your why is super important if you want to go places, if you want to rank up, if you want to have a big team and a big customer base, because that why, pretty much your why can connect with probably just about anybody.
Absolutely. It's so important. I want to challenge each of you. I've challenged a few of my leaders. We have a group that I was challenging, and to write out your why, make it cute, type it plain on the computer. Who cares how you do it? But I want you to put it on your bathroom mirror. So when you see it every single day, and if you are having a bad day, guess what? Everybody has bad days in life. You can go back to that why and say, this is why I'm doing this, and this is why I spend time, and this is why I do things. And your why is going to change tremendously. My why was I wanted to lose weight, right? I promise my why has changed a million times, and it just keeps getting better and adding on. And one of my biggest whys now is because I want everyone on my team to succeed in the way that I have, because it's amazing to watch. I feel like everybody's my little baby, and I'm so proud of them when they, you know, do something exciting. And I want that. I want that for every single one of you, and I want to help you do that. But so my why has started, and there's many more things in between losing weight, and I want this for my team. Absolutely. I say it all the time, and she knows it. I would do it all again for not making $1 for my sister-in-law, Mandy. She knows this. I say it all the time. My why is her. Her life has changed tremendously. She is such a different person because of Plexus, her health, her confidence, everything. And so that is a huge why of mine, that seeing all these lives change. Guys, your why is going to grow and grow and grow. But put your why, put it somewhere where you can see it on that bathroom mirror every single day, so you can look at it and remember, this is what I'm doing. This is my goal. This is why I'm excited about Plexus. Plexus is life-changing, and put that on there so you can see it, so you can go back and look at it every day. I challenge each and every one of you to do that. So, all right. Thank you so much, Andrea. Okay. Next up, we have Kristen.
All right. Thank you. My name is Kristen Borden, and I am a senior gold, this close to Ruby ambassador. I live in a suburb of Memphis, Tennessee, and I attended Super Saturday in Little Rock, Arkansas. So it was about a 3-hour drive. It was great. I went with a bunch of my teammates. I thought the whole training from the whole day was fantastic, and it just reaffirmed everything that I've been working so hard to teach my team. It really was about the basics, because it focused on the new welcome kit that new ambassadors will start getting as of like 4 days from now. I'm so excited. The Welcome Kit gives us a tool so that we're all on the same page. And it will propel your new recruits off to a really strong start if they take a look at it. And it's very nice looking and very inviting. And I think I heard that the people who box and the Apple products made our Welcome Kit. Is that true? Do you know anything about that? But have you heard that? Anyway, it looks like it because it's so well put together and it looks nice and it's pretty. And I'm just very excited about it. I think we've needed something like that, and now we have it. So I encourage all of you to use that. But when Beth asked me to talk today, the first thing that came to my mind was something that I struggle with personally. And I'm always trying to get better at my weaknesses because I think that is so important to getting better at my job. Overcoming the things that I struggle with have helped me grow my business. So I feel like if I struggled with something as simple as what I'm about to share with you, then maybe other people do as well. So I wanted to talk about it. So the thing I chose to talk about was, how do you answer the question, what is plexus? Very simple question. You would think after a year and a half of doing this that I would have it down to a science. But I think we all struggle with finding the line between not saying too much, we call it throwing up plexus all over somebody, and not saying enough. And so how do you answer that very simple question, what is plexus? I want to share with you a few tips on how you can answer that question and what you can say. So first of all, keep it very simple. Be prepared to answer the question in 10 seconds with power, passion, and emotion. So you could say something like, Plexus is an amazing health and wellness company. We have an awesome supplement line to help you get healthy and lose weight. Have you heard of Plexus Slim? Simple. You don't have to go on and on and on and on like we all, for some reason, feel it, we feel like we need to do the talking. Think of your conversation when you're having a conversation about plexus as a tennis match. You want to volley the ball back and forth and back and forth. And the way you do that is to ask the other person a question. It encourages them to engage in the conversation and not just their eyes aren't going to roll in their back of the head like, oh, I shouldn't have asked, what is plexus? Always be trying to put the ball back in their court. You can also think of it as spotlight shining down on you. There's a spotlight on you and a spotlight on the person that you're talking to. And you want the spotlight that's shining on you or on them to be on twice as much as the spotlight that's shining on you. Okay, so let them do the talking. They say we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we talk. And I think that is so important in our business because we don't want to drive people away with too much information. One thing I learned at the Mastermind event in Orlando earlier or late last year was that network marketers, which is the business that we're in, we need to be prepared with a 10-second, a 60-second, a 3-minute, and a 15-minute presentation on that question, a simple question like, what is plexus or what do you do? Develop your presentations, so to speak, and practice them. Memorize them, but don't make it so that you can't talk off the cuff. You want to say them to yourself over and over and over in the car, in the shower, to your family. Do it so much that you are prepared to answer that question. It becomes natural and second nature. I like to do a lot of meetings, sip and sees, opportunity meetings, things like that. And I love practicing my presentation because I feel like that's what it's going to take to get better at it. So, and I'm always thinking after I'm done, like, oh, what could I have said better? Or what tangent did I go off of? And I need to reel myself back in. So really be prepared to answer those questions because they will come up. I mean, it's just common for that kind of question to come up. So here are some tips on how to also talk to strangers and what to do when you meet somebody new. So first of all, learn how to be engaging. I had to go to the library and get a book on tape to figure out this because I'm not a people person. I am a if you've read the 4 color personalities of MLM marketing, I think I'm a green. I'm the one, not a green. I don't know, the one that's all about numbers and science. I am not a people person. So learn how to be engaging. Practice, find people who aren't happy and smile at them and try to make them smile. It's like you try to break them down and get them to smile and engage with you. Work on being a good listener. And like the other, let's see, what was her name? I think she's gone. Like the other lady was saying, I don't know everybody on this call, but like the other lady was saying, practice on your kids. Let them do the talking instead of you. Get outside of your comfort zone. Be prepared with tools, business cards, sample cards. Wear Plexus shirts and hats. It really is a conversation starter. I am not one to go up to somebody and start talking about Plexus, but I'm happy to have that conversation if they comment on my shirt. See, I'm wearing my Plexus shirt. So use those tools. I also I've been doing this 1.5 years, and I just put sample cards in my purse. That's terrible. You know how many opportunities I've missed out on because I wasn't prepared? So be prepared with your speech, with your tools. One thing I always do, and I'm sure everybody on this call does as well, is when I meet somebody new, I connect with them on Facebook or other social media. I usually send them a friend request on the spot and ask them to send me one. And what does that do? It lets them start seeing, what I do and what I'm posting about, and they get to know what I do with Plexus. So it's a really, really good tool. And that's all I had to share with you today. Just be prepared.
Absolutely. That's so very important. And sometimes I forget, like if I switch purses, the other day somebody asked me, because I had on my Plexus shirt, what is Plexus? And I was like, oh, I have a sample. I was like, oh, I forgot to change purses. So always have this. And like, y'all, give me the simplest things. Like, here's my cup I'm drinking out of today. I carry this everywhere with me. I mean, some people are like, okay, we get it. But other people who don't know me are like, what is Plexus? And in the area I am now, it's not a huge, I just moved 1.5 years ago. It's not a huge Plexus area. And almost everywhere I go, the other day I was at the urgent care with Luke getting his hand x-rayed. I was at Kohl's one day, and I'm always wearing Plexus stuff. And people are like, what is Plexus? Mm-hmm. So I want to encourage you, when somebody does ask that, do exactly what Kristen says. She's so correct on don't throw up Plexus, but keep it simple. The other day I was at the doctor's office, and the 2 nurses were like, what is Plexus? And I was like, we're a health and wellness company. And I don't even say weight loss at first. Health and wellness, I said, people have many successes, migraines, stomach problems, and the girl goes, oh my gosh, I have major stomach problems. So I always say, please give me your information, give me your business card, write it down so I have it. Even if they ask for yours, get theirs back so you can contact them. Mm-hmm. So anyways, thank you so much, Kristen. You were absolutely right. Thank you. Okay, next is Miss Rachel.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited. So yeah, my name's Rachel Haynes. I am Silver Almost Gold Ambassador from Nebraska, and a bunch of us carpooled to Denver through this. It had snowed, but we made it, and it was so worth it. Training was incredible.
Sorry, how far was it? 6 hours, right?
6 hours, yeah. Yes.
So, and they had several cars full.
Yes, several. It was a whole caravan. So it was great. I'm so glad I went. And so just like you guys, I'm like 100% type B. Like, it almost makes my brain explode to organize anything, information, closets, like my refrigerator. I'm so bad at it. And so when Beth asked me to share, I was like, I better get to work and start thinking about how I can share what I learned concisely. And so I had to narrow it down to basically 2 words. And those words are intentional and ownership. And so, and I'm a person, I sometimes need and appreciate some tough love, and just kind of to be told to snap out of it and stop making excuses and stop feeling sorry for yourself and just do it. Just work and do it. And so our trainers were sweet as pie. I don't want to make it sound like they were like mean to us, because they were not at all. But I know that I tend to make excuses and to, sorry, I have a 4-year-old who's distracting me right now.
She's okay. Put her on your lap. It's fine.
Yeah,
Put her on your lap. She's cute.
Here. Where'd she go? I don't even know where she went now.
Well, if she needs to be in your lap, she can be in your lap.
Say
Family
hi.
first, right? Hi, sweet baby.
Hey, hi. So and another word for intentional is disciplined. And so I took these words and I try to think about how can I apply these to more of my life than just Plexus. So things like just being intentional about making eye contact with people. That's hard. That was hard for me. It's getting much easier now. And, just ways to be a more thoughtful person. And I think things like this translate into our business. If we can be intentional people in life, then that translates into our business. And so much of this business is relationships and is discipline and reaching out and stepping outside of our comfort zones and doing the hard things in order to grow. And then ownership. So this is a little phrase I just made up. Maybe somebody else made it up. I don't know. But the blame game is lame.
I love it.
Yes, so cheesy, but so true. And I think even when it's subconscious, our blaming, whether or not it's my team's not growing. Well, let's take some ownership as leaders and look into our own selves and say, are they not growing because I'm not leading well? My customers aren't being consistent with their products. Well, what have you done to explain the regimen, and how have you supported them, and how are you checking in with them? I think as leaders, taking ownership of our weaknesses like Kristen shared, and just some failings or some disappointments can go a really, really long way. And so that's something that I really want to grow in. Because like I said, even if it's not really, what's the word I'm looking for? Overt blaming. I think even subconscious blaming, some like just minimal stuff can really pollute our thoughts and be really detrimental to our business. And so, so yeah, these were things that I took from Super Saturday. At one point they said, talk to strangers, be brave, and just do it. Just do it. Like what's the harm? If they say no, you're probably never going to see them again. What's the big deal? Ask for referrals, like Beth said, just things. And so, okay, so I'm a person who, yeah, thank you. Sure. I'm a person who I prefer just to go to the ATM instead of dealing with a teller face to face. But as a practice of discipline, I'm making myself go through the teller line. The most trivial things like that. Instead of texting my friends and saying, hey, I'm outside, come get in the van, I'll physically call and say, hey, friend, I'm outside. I'm looking for every single little tiny place in my life where I can implement some discipline and do the thing that I'd rather not do in order to grow myself as a leader and a businesswoman, really. So those were a couple words: intentionality and ownership. So I hope that's helpful.
I love that. And I almost shouted out amen when you said pick up the phone, because I don't know if y'all have heard me talk lately or see on my page, but I'm always like, pick up the phone and start calling people. And in a challenge group that I was a part of, I challenged them that, and people were terrified to start calling people. And guess what? After the second or third one, they're like, oh my gosh, this is great. Because I think it all goes back to having relationships with people and talking to people. And I know even Kristen, somebody messaged, I think Kristen, smile at somebody, right? Give somebody a hug. Sometimes, y'all, that's going to make somebody's day happy. I mean, if somebody's having a terrible day and you may not even know they're having a terrible day, and you go up and give them a hug, y'all, it's about relationships. It is. It's about building relationships with people, even people that you don't know, even at the grocery store. I mean, the little sweet lady at the grocery store that gets my groceries, I try to go through her line every time. She hops out and gives me a hug every single time. I'm sure the rest of the line's like, get back on. But I'm telling you, listening to people, believing in people, doing whatever it takes to make contact with people is going to change your business. Absolutely. Rachel, I love those 2 words, and I might have to make some kind of graphic with your new word. What was it? The blame game is lame. Yes. Don't blame your upline. Don't blame your downline. Don't blame anybody. Step up and do whatever it takes, right? If you have, I have people that, you know, are so far down that don't have supportive uplines. Guess what? They reach out and find somebody that will support them and help them, correct? Right. So do that. And, you know, but then don't lose your, you know, let go of your downline. Always keep in contact with them. Smile at them. Love on them, you know. So anyways, thank you so much, Rachel. You always make it fun. I love it. Okay. Oh, I'm writing notes, so I lost my list. Hold on. Where's my list? Okay. Next up is Katie. Katie, are you good to go? Okay, awesome.
Okay, so I am Katie Bryson, and I am a Ruby ambassador, and I went to Nashville, Tennessee with Celeste and Rosalind Payne. So some of the things that I took away, I wanted to talk about the power of 3. Celeste did something that was really cool, and I've never seen done at any of the other trainings I've gone to. She got 3 people to stand up on the first row, and then she got them to touch 3 people and them to touch 3 people, and it just trickled down, and before you know it, hundreds and hundreds of people were standing up. So that was just a really cool visual to everybody. Everybody just kind of gasped and was like, oh my gosh, it just clicked with everybody how easy the power of 3 is, and how, you know, that's how all the diamonds, you know, really did it, and it wasn't all on them. So that was just really incredible to see. And so that was cool. I did want to talk about, you know, the power of 3, you know, just starting that with your business, and that is not all on you. You can't count on yourself to make it all the way to the top. So if you can just find 3 people and just keep going silver every single month, then you will build an empire in no time. Another thing Rosalind Payne talked about, she had 11 level 1s whenever she went, she became a jewel. So that was really cool. She just talked about her power partners and, you know, linking arms with people, and just really focused on, you know, building up leaders. And the fact that she didn't have 100 level 1s whenever she became a jewel was just, I think it gave a lot of hope to people. You know, if you can just find some really strong legs and pour into them and get them to do the same thing, that you can become an emerald and even a diamond. So that was really neat to see. And then another thing that Rosalind talked about was to not discriminate. Whenever you're making your list, whenever you're reaching out to people, don't rule anybody out. She said that she had a CEO on her list, and she just figured, you know, she's not going to have any interest. She's going to, you know, be like, why are you doing this? And so she never reached out to her. And by her not doing that, she missed out on, you know, the CEO of a company joined underneath somebody else. And I think she might be an emerald now. So that was just something, you know, you don't know what somebody's going through. You don't know if somebody is a slave to their job and looking for, you know, something that can help them be home with their family. You don't know, you know, people don't wear signs on their forehead that says, I have this kind of disease, or I'm struggling with this, or, you know, suffering from this. So we can't make that decision for them. We have to give them this option and let them make that choice. So I thought that was really, and after she said that, I went to my chicken list and I just started, you know, messaging everybody, and it didn't matter if I didn't think they'd be interested or not. I just went after them. And so that's something I took away. And then another thing is we talked about affirmations. And sorry, my little coworkers.
I love it.
Up my leg. Affirmations are so huge, and I know that that's a common theme with what diamonds and emeralds and sapphires all talk about, is you have to have belief in yourself, unwavering belief, and talking to yourself in a positive light. You know, the way that we sometimes talk to ourselves we wouldn't talk to anybody else that way. So why do we talk to ourselves that way? So that's something that I've really started to try to pour into my team and myself to do, and writing them on, you know, where you'll see them every single day on your mirror. You know, that's the best way to talk to yourself better. So doing that every day is really something that I've started doing too. So those are some of the things that I took away.
I love it. So Celeste and Roz, all of our kids went to the same school before I moved, and Roz and I actually both worked at school, and our desks sat next to each other. And so it was such a fun journey because it was when we were promoting, and I mean, in that time, I think we all went. I know I went Emerald to Diamond at that time, and I don't know if, I think she did too. I'm pretty sure she might have gone Diamond right after I left, right after I moved. I'm not sure, but to see that, and y'all, the power of 3 is right, and Roz is right. I probably had 11 too when I went Emerald, and that's so hard to believe, and that's so hard to grasp for so many people. But it's building your team, and it's finding people who will work this business. Yes, I have wholesalers on my level ones. I do. And some of those wholesalers, y'all, have so much potential, but they don't want it yet. They might want it later, but they don't want it yet. But working with the ones that want it, helping them grow their teams and helping them build their teams is huge. And so I know that, you know, so many times you think, oh my gosh, to be Diamond 4,500 points, that's so huge. You build that team with everyone and supporting everyone. And so just like watching y'all, I wanted to grab people from different legs, and it's so fun sitting here and listening and thinking, wow, these people are all over the country. And when I started, I was like, there's no way I can do this, but it's your team helping. And so investing in your team is so huge. But yeah, Roz and Celeste are great. And so that I'm so glad that y'all got to hear them. So thank you, Katie. And I thank you so much for being here. I know that you've had a rough morning. So anyways, thank you so much. Okay, Sabrina, you're up next.
Hello. So yes, my name is Sabrina LaPlante, and I am a senior Ruby ambassador, and I live in a little town called Hanford, California, and I attended Bakersfield. Our event was absolutely mind-blowing. There was over 700 people there. So to go from last year with like 150 people to 700 this year, that just shows, like, I don't know, that was exciting in itself to get in a room with that many people together. Awesome. So we had Ame and Sheila there who taught us so many different things, and trying to figure out a couple of my favorite things to talk about. What I took home from it, Ame talked a lot about our body language and going out in a confident manner when we present what we have for people, whether we're talking about the products or whether we are talking about the business opportunity. If you go out in a way, I love what Beth said earlier, because that's exactly what I have in bold letters. Never apologize, because we have what everyone needs. People lay their head down at nighttime and they stress about 2 things. It's their health and their financial future. And we have both of those in the palm of our hand. It's literally, we have the hope for them right here. And if we don't open our mouth and share with them, they're never going to know. And so it's so important to just present yourself. You want to come off as confident, and don't ever be hesitant to share with someone because you don't think you have a good enough story, or because you don't think you are high enough in the company to present the business opportunity to them. Just know that wherever you're at, it's going to touch someone else's life where they're at. So don't ever hesitate. We become more confident, obviously, the more we know about the products, the more you learn about the business. So learning is super important to build our confidence in it. And the more we share with people, the more confident we become. The more you talk to strangers in public, the more it becomes natural for us. And so she said, these are things that you don't learn overnight. It's something that's not always going to come naturally to someone at first. But the more we practice something, the more it becomes our second nature to present to someone why the business is so important and why they need it, why they need the products. So that was huge. She talked about that. She talked about using powerful words. She called them our power words. Something as simple as, she said, you should find a powerful word for each product we talk about. So we know, for example, talking about We have only 14 or a small but powerful product line, or small but mighty product line. With our X Factor, I know I always call our X Factor as our multivitamin on steroids. That's what I always just refer to it as. We have to find these small little words that are simple, powerful words that can connect someone to realizing that it's so important. So that was huge. And just presenting, she talked, just about your body language and the way you come off to someone. Always look someone in the eye with them. Let them know that they are important to you, and that's why you are sharing with them. So that was huge. A couple other things Sheila talked about was the only difference between where we are at right now and Beth as a diamond, or anyone else as a diamond, or any jewels in the company that we look up to. They have shared this opportunity with more people than we have, and they've got more no's. That's the only thing that separates them. So oftentimes, we idolize an emerald or a sapphire or a diamond because we're like, oh my gosh, we just want to be there so bad. What have they done? All they've done is shared more than we have. It's just a matter of opening our mouth out, talking about it, and be willing to accept a no, to go on and get as many no's as we can. Look at a no as a positive thing for us, because it's getting that much closer to a yes. So that was huge. It made a lot of people realize that anyone can do this. Just go get no's. Another thing they said, this business is simple. We so oftentimes try to make it way harder than it is. There's a major difference between simple and easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing this. But it's simple in the fact that we have everything right here in front of us. We have all the tools we need. We have all the training we need. She said a lot of people, she goes, you guys are going to attend Super Saturday and take so much home with it. She said, take it and implement it in your teams. A lot of the stuff we have heard before, time after time. And she said, I know I question myself all the time. I'm like, what is that missing link? What is that next step that I need to do to get myself to where I need to go? And we overcomplicate everything. We do that in life always. We have everything we need right here in front of us. Just get out there, keep it simple, keep the passion in our heart, and the belief for our company, keep that as strong as possible. And that's what's going to get us further than anything else. So that was huge for me. Okay, so leaving you on a quick note, I was going to set my timer on my phone so I knew where I was at talking wise, but leaving you with one note, the biggest thing I get out of going to these events, we get so pumped up and we get so excited, and that's like amazing, whether it's just an opportunity event or a small little meeting or getting together with people. The biggest part that we need to do with this is walk away from it and do it. If you walk away from it and you're pumped up and you're excited, great. But if you don't implement any of these things that we actually learn into our activities, it's sort of, we've just thrown it away. And so that's the most important thing, I think, when we walk away from these things, or getting on one of these training Zooms or a training call. Just do it. Like it's much easier said than done, but if we do it, that's all we have to do. It's simple. Keep it easy. Leaving on one last note, get to convention. Like anytime I'm ever going to be on another video, I'm going to push that as many times as we can. Convention is a must. So yes. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Beth.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Sabrina. You know what? And there's another graphic I'm making. Walk away and do it. It's so right. I mean, we're fired up, right? We are so fired up. But if we just come home and are fired up by ourselves, that's not doing us any good. And another thing, Sabrina, is you are so right. I have had so many no's. Some of my very best friends are like, absolutely not. Still, my very best friend in the whole world is supposed to order. She was going to do it this week, and I told her, wait, I'm re-entering, so I'm hoping she does it today. But I mean, 3 years, guys, my very best friend, 3 years. Family members, no. I'm like, you need it. No. So you get no's, and sometimes those no's turn into yeses, and it may take a little bit longer, but keep going. Don't let that stop you. It is discouraging, like when somebody's like, no, you're crazy, if they say that, but you're not crazy. I promise you, you're not crazy. The next person isn't going to think that. And so you just have to keep going. Don't let a no get you down. Make it make that no make you want more. want you to go try and get more. So anyways, you're right. We all have no's. And people think, oh my gosh, they did it because everybody said yes. I promise everybody has not said yes. So thank you, Sabrina. All right, Miss Sherry, you are up.
Okay. Well, my name's Sherry Markwell. I'm from a little town called Monteagle, Tennessee. I'm a senior goat ambassador, and I went to the Super Saturday in Nashville where Celeste and Rosalind were and where Katie went. We had 1,400 people there, so it was just amazing to be there and everything. So a couple of things that I just wanted to share about today was around customer care and how now we're calling it customer care instead of customer service, because if we are approaching this in the correct ways, we care for our customers and we want to work with them to help them meet their goals and create a healthier lifestyle. So if we approach it in that way and we work our customers through our relationships instead of through sales, then of course we're going to be able to enter into this and get better customers and everything else, because we've got that relationship that's always lasting and you've become their trusted friend. You may not even know them before the time starts, but when you create that relationship and you focus on it, everything else is going to come. So always making note, and I think a few people have shared it, that sharing is more important than selling. So if we're always sharing and just telling them how we feel that it could be the answer for them and showing it kindly, then it's going to lead to ones coming to us and trusting us and becoming a customer and a partner with us. One thing Celeste shared that I liked was how if folks do say they're interested and, you know, they're thinking about maybe trying it, if you are at the point where you can afford it and things, she said, send them a video of some kind and then ask them to watch it and send you 3 things that they learned about it. And then if you're at that point where you can afford it, send them maybe a 3-day trial. And then that 3-day trial, they can take it, and that might, you know, promote them a little more and make them realize that, hey, this is something I want to try and consider. So I hadn't thought of it in the terms of, you know, sending them a video and asking them to comment 3 things they learned. So I liked that. Also, of course, involved in customer care, when you start talking to anybody, whether it's a true customer or even potentials, you've got to always make sure you follow up with them. Follow up, even if they haven't ordered, even if they've just considered it, never forget them. So I've always got a list. It's, you know, started as my Frank's list, and they're ones that turned into potentials. They still haven't ordered. I continue to always follow up with them. So I keep a date beside it of when I last contacted them and a date beside it of when I need to contact them in the future. And I'll keep it, you know, if I've been talking to them for a while, I may not check with them except, you know, once a month or once every 2 or 3 months. But you always want to make sure you follow up with them. Once they do, of course, become a customer, you want to check in with them after a few days and just see how it's going, and then continue to follow up with them after a few weeks and even a month if they continue to stay on it. Check in to see if they want to consider any other products, following up with them for that and encouraging their reorders. And then always, of course, check in and make sure if there's interest in joining the family as an ambassador. So in the follow-ups, one thing that Celeste mentioned as well, and I know I don't use it yet, but I'm going to now with this, is using, you know, your Facebook Messenger instead of typing out your note and, you know, your little follow-up, sending them a voice message through it. There's a little microphone down there at the bottom. Type it up, send it to them as a voice message, because when they hear your voice, they'll hear your passion, and then they'll know how excited you are about Plexus and everything. So I thought that was great. And then, of course, if you got that passion, you're going to be bold. You're going to have a mindset to where you're always going to show your excitement. And in the Victor Antonio video that he shared, it talked about mindset and how success today is 80% mindset and 20% tool set. And if you believe in this, you're going to find a way to make it happen. And he, of course, talked about sharing, you know, you're sharing, not selling. And when you share your enthusiasm, people are going to be excited and they're going to want to be a part of this. And so, Celeste mentioned in this that your audience is watching to see if you are passionate about Plexus, it is a lifestyle change, or if it's something that you're going to move on next week. So you've always got to be consistent in your posting and your sharing, and that your audience is waiting for you to fail. So I liked that Celeste shared, because if we aren't consistent, and if we're not sharing this, then they're just going to think it's a little fad that you've went through. So you've got to always make sure you're out there sharing and everything. So Also in Victor's video, he had shared that when you approach someone, you're going to have folks that resist, and you have a lot, though, that are going to hear what you want to say and what you have to offer. So you've got to make sure that when you're talking to someone, you're keeping in mind those 3 W's that were shared earlier, which is your weight, your wellness, or your wealth. And then when we know about them and what they want to talk, then we can figure out where to go, and making sure we let them talk, not yourself. That's a key. So, and then from the customer experience, the last thing is just making sure that we talk to where we're, they realize that they can trust us, that they believe in us, and that the more people that we can help make the decision and give them the right info, then we're helping them as well. So those were just some things that I thought were great from it and wanted to share.
Those are awesome, Sherry. I love the voice messaging instead of typing. I've never thought about that. And I use voice messaging all the time for all of my team. It's just easier for me to talk. But what I do tell my people all the time is if people hear your voice, just what you said, they are more passionate. It's easier to click that button. I'm telling you, people can hear it in your voice when you're excited about Plexus, and that can be a game changer. But yeah, so I absolutely agree with that. And then just the consistency. I say that all the time too, guys. People want to see it, and if they think that you don't do it all the time and you're not consistent, they are going to think it's a fad. One of my greatest compliments the other day was somebody so I know that I've said before in this video that I'm new to this area, and for me, I've had to build relationships, and the first person that ever knew that we did Plexus, Scott was wearing a Plexus shirt, and she said something to me about it, and so she just joined our team last week. And so, but she said to me when we were talking the other day about joining, she was like, "You have a passion." And to me, y'all, that was the biggest compliment, because I do have a passion. And because somebody else noticed that and noticed that it's not just a fad, and that I'm not giving up, and that I love this company, and that I love what I do, that was a huge compliment to me. So let people hear your passion. You're absolutely right. So this has been absolutely awesome. I have like 2 pages of notes I've been taking. And y'all, learning is huge. Grow every single day. Learn something every single day. When I was thinking about this call, I wanted to pick leaders from around the country, from different legs of my big team. I specifically picked leaders that weren't Jules, because sometimes people just hear us Jules talk and they're probably like, okay, enough already. But I know each of you are going to be Jules very, very soon, because you're learning, because you're growing, because you're passionate, because you're going to events, and you're invested in this company. And so you're doing what it takes, and I know that you all will be. And I also want to say this call today, there were 9 of us, and all from different phases of life. We have people that are working that had to hop off because they took time out of their job, their full-time job, to do the Zoom with me today. We had one mom that had to hop off because her son forgot her lunch, so she's a stay-at-home mom and able to do this. But family first, right? As I said with Rachel, when her kids, Rachel homeschools her kids, and so they're there. And so, everybody's in so many different phases of life. And so you might have seen people hop off, but it's not because they didn't want to stay on. It's because like one has a sick kid, but we're still all able to work this business in the way that we can work it and doing it. But I promise what we all are is committed to this business. And even though we're in different phases of our lives, that we will work this business when we can. When I started, I was working a couple different jobs, and I worked it like literally 2 or 3 minutes here or there, y'all. But I committed to doing that every single day. So if you will commit to learning, growing, building your team, investing in your team, investing in your customers, then you too will go up in this company. It's an amazing opportunity. And so I love that we are all the trainers for Super Saturday were trained the exact same way and had the exact same scripts, but everyone put their personal spin on it. And I've learned so much just from watching Zoom today and gotten different ideas, and I absolutely love it. So thank you all for helping me with this. I really appreciate it. You all did awesome. And for those of you watching, get to convention. Period. End of story. No excuses. So anyways, we hope to all see you there. And thank you again. Y'all have a great day. Bye, guys.